I'm not lying if I say that this is the really most boring method to fix a broken content creation system. Because in 2025, it's completely not about the quality of the content that you create. It's much more about what I'm going to explain here in a second. But with that said, today I will teach you guys something that this boring ass method, like it's really, really boring, that transformed my clients from getting no leads, like zero right here, to weekly closing 7K PIF deals.
Like we had, for example, we have one lady who booked a call a couple of days ago just from YouTube. She just found me randomly on YouTube, opted in, booked a call, and she is on the verge of paying 7 grand. Like,
And so if you watch this video till the end, never ever you're going to waste hours figuring out why don't get clients. Because in complete transparency, this is the system which I'm going to talk to you about, will cut in half your time and energy investments and get you double the result. And do you know why I say this with full conviction? Is because of this thing right here. And this is what we call a throughput. Now, most likely you know what is a throughput, but if you don't, let me explain. So basically, a throughput really just shows how much something passes through a system. So for example, if you create a system for getting clients, for example, from your ads to getting, paid on a call, that is a throughput because something is going to measure that. And just in a similar way, YouTube has a throughput system. And this is how it looks like. There is the YouTube market, there is the traffic, and from that, we go to an idea, packaging, hook, value, call to action. And if all these places we are going to have a good conversion rate, we are going to make money, we are going to get clients. But this is the big problem. And this is why this is really just boring, like boring as boring. Because if you want to make the most money possible from YouTube, you shouldn't be focusing on your hooks or your value or your call to action or even your packaging. Because the very first thing people see when they take a look at your video is the idea that you have. And if your ideas are just trash, like really trash, you're never ever going to make money from it. Especially you're not going to get clients. And so that's why the most boring method to solve your problem of not getting clients and leads is creating the right ideas with the knowledge I'm going to share with you guys right now. Because my next thing is going to be how to actually craft a killer idea. Because this is what I've done for my client and literally, started getting 7K PIF deals. Because with the right ideas, we get the right people. And there is two things we need to do here. One is understanding targeting. Now, I'm talking about killer ideas. Like, why am I talking about targeting? Well, if you create killer ideas, but you don't create the killer ideas for the right people, you're not going to get clients. You may get views, but you're not going to get clients. That's why the first step is understanding targeting. And that's when we can talk about actually creating the right killer ideas. So, what do you have to know about targeting? Well, there is no niche on YouTube. This is the very first thing, and you must understand this. When you're targeting people on YouTube, there is no niche. How can you imagine this is, for example, if I say to that, go and target SaaS founders right now. Like, yeah, you can put in the title the idea of only for SaaS founders or stuff like this, but are they only going to click on that? No, those people are going to click on that who have the same pains and desires. And that's why on YouTube there is only overlapping pains and overlapping desires through different niches. So for example, if you suffer with client acquisition, you can be in the niche of B2B business, B2C business, info product selling, whatever it is actually, it doesn't matter because you can still have the overlapping pain and the overlapping desire. So that's why on YouTube there is no niche. And so what you need to understand is what are the pains and the desires of the target audience that you have. So your ICP. And how can you do this and know this in the best way possible? And that is basically sales calls. You have a bunch of sales calls with your people, with your clients or potential clients that you had. And you have right there every single little detail that they suffer from and what are their desires. And you can use this for yourself. You can use this to get more of these people onto your content by understanding what are their pains and what are their desires. So, for example, like personally, what I have done is right now, these are the last 3 months of my sales calls. Like, as you can see, this was May, this was June, and right now we are in July. And I took all of the scripts for this, like really the scripts and understanding everything. And I just put them into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT spit out all of the pains, all of the desires these people have. And from here, I have a bunch of problems and desires I can solve through my content, which will inevitably attract those types of people. Of course, if I create the right killer idea from here, from the targeting. Now, with that said, how can you actually create the killer idea? And this is going to be very simple, guys. So, firstly, ideation. Like, okay, how to do this? The very first thing is the market needs. Okay, I explained this, like, I explained the pains and the desires, but you have to understand that if the market doesn't want your idea, it's not going to watch it. I don't care how good your content idea is, if it doesn't align with the specific value, with the specific pain and specific desire they have right now, they are never ever going to click on your video and watch it to the end. So the very first thing is understanding, okay, this value I'm going to talk about in this exact video is going to solve this very specific problem for this very specific person in order for me to get actually views. Okay? So this is the first thing you need to understand. Now the second, the creation of an idea is intangible, okay? Because how you create a good idea and a killer idea has different stages. And let me explain these stages. So firstly, there is the topic, then there is an angle, and there is a killer idea. Now, let me explain what I mean. My topic was the broken content creation system because I knew that this is a big pain in my niche. And my video before this is the same. I talk about a broken content creation system, or basically not a broken, but a desire of a content creation system. And I know that this is a big pain in my niche. And what I do is I take an angle for this topic. So the angle right here is I fixed a broken content creation system for my client. This is just the angle. But right now, what you need to understand is that this is the pain, and the angle is basically putting that topic and that idea into a form where people would likely click on it. So what I exactly mean is that I fix the broken content creation system for my client is something that people could be interested in. So what happens is that because of this angle, people are going to click on my content. And with that said, this is not good enough. Like, can I make this just into a title, thumbnail, and bang? No, I need to make it a killer. So what I do is I put elements into my idea that is going to bring more emotion out from my target audience. So basically, I use the most boring method to fix a broken content creation system, and they paid me 6K for it. And this idea is a killer one because right now you're watching this video. And with that said, this is how I've created this. I understood the topic by understanding what is the big pain of my niche. Then I took an angle of the same topic, basically how I fixed this broken content creation system for my client. And right there, I went ahead and created a killer idea. And in a similar way, if you have to talk about a different example, let's say you're creating a content about getting more clients. This is your topic. This is the big pain in your niche. And you can take this angle, for example, how I went from 0 clients per month to 10 clients per month. Like, for example, this is an anchor. And you can make this into a killer idea. So, for example, this unheard technique made me go from getting 0 clients a month to 10 clients a month. And this is a killer idea because you took the topic, you created a good angle for it, which make people curious, like, I want to hear about this more. And then you made it into a killer idea. And this is exactly how you're going to solve your problem of client acquisition from YouTube. Because if you implement this like throughoutly, like really you have the right targeting and you have the right ideation, you're never ever going to suffer with getting clients from YouTube. With that said, there's a link down below to work with me, and I will see you in the next.